What's up, guys? How are you? Mr. Argueta. It is week number 5. So here we are. We are doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing at the time that we're supposed to get it done. So I want to start off by saying thank you for all your hard work. Want to give you a couple heads up. Want to let you know what's, of course, every week, what's expected from this week, what to expect for next week, and what happened last week. So last week, of course, you guys knew we did our midterm. So if you're watching this video and you did not do your midterm, we might have an issue. So please get in contact with me. But I am updating the grades. That way you guys can see where you're at. You need to know where you're at because, let's see here as a reminder. Here we go. February 16th. February 16th is a week from today. A week from today. So you have a week from today to decide if you want to stay in this class or not. So if you're not doing very well in this class, it might make sense for you to withdraw from the class. You have till February 16th to do this. So for some of you who are doing great, this is just a waste of air for you. It doesn't matter. You're doing fine. Keep going. You're fine. So by the end of this week, you should see your upgraded midterm grade and know exactly where you stand at the midpoint of this class. So starting this week, we start off, again, 2 chapters plus a discussion, and then we do that for the next 2 weeks after this week. So here's what to expect. This week is a normal week. Next week's a normal week. The week after that, it's a normal week. 2 chapters and a discussion. Week 8 is just your final. So the last week, week 8. So this week, of course, you're doing 5, 6, 7. Week 8, it is February 28th, and it closes on March 6th. That would be the last day of the final. I cannot extend the final. I will have to submit grades right after that's entered on Monday. There is no possible way that I can give you any extension on it. So I don't do extensions. I don't do late work. It is what it is. I grade everything at that point. It's the end of the semester. So technically speaking, guys, you have 2 more weeks of work. That's amazing. And actually, in my opinion, pretty exciting because you got this week. For some of you who already did your discussions and your homework, you got 2 more weeks, guys, and you're done. 2 more weeks and this is over. So hang in there. You're almost there. And then the last week, of course, starts on the 27th or 28th, actually, and ends on March 6th. So we are coming to an end. It goes super, super, super fast, as you can tell. Please make sure that you check your grades and make sure that you are where you want to be in this class. If you are not, regretfully and painfully, I tell you, please withdraw. It does less to your grade than if you get an F. The worst is to get an F in a class, okay? So if you're not where you need to be, please consider the withdrawal, all right? I cannot withdraw for you, so you cannot email me and be like, please withdraw me from this class. I can't do that. You have to do it yourself. All right, that all being said, here we are in week number 5. Week number 5, we are talking about leadership. Some of you are taking leadership, and this is an easy discussion. We're going to talk about the difference between a leader and a manager, and tell me about what your perspectives is on that. We also talk about the diversity in a workforce and all those great conversations we have when we talk about being a diverse environment and the benefits that brings to us, the differences that brings to us. For example, believe it or not, this class is very diverse. All these different backgrounds. We have a truck driver that did trucking for many years. We have people in the medical field. We got people currently in a marketing perspective. Somebody in our class spent this whole past couple of weeks setting up a new marketing campaign at their work and doing a whole new floor plan. Like, this is information that's accessible to you in our environment. Of course, I bring different skill sets and opportunities and experiences that can help you. But all of our class, I suggest you read some of these people's posts and stories. Phenomenal. We have a young lady that just came back from Chicago. She was there for a few weeks. And I pray to God, and I wrote this in your discussion reply, I hope you ate some good pizza and you had an Italian beef. Like, plus, we have a young lady that came from Chicago after she graduated from high school, moved here, which surprisingly, we have a connection. Like, she knows someone who I knew. So it's crazy. This world is so small. Here in Dalton, Georgia, crazy. Anyhow, my point is, read other people's discussion. Get to know people in our classrooms. Make this real for you. Make this like a real classroom. I hope that my efforts to connect with you reach further than just you writing to me. Like, I'm connecting with you. I want to know about your life, what's happening with you. I ran into a student in Chattanooga this weekend. Of course, I know her, so I was able to recognize her, but if I don't recognize you because we've never met, just tell me who you are. I want to meet you. So, Emma, I saw you. It was great to see you. I hadn't seen Emma in a little bit, so it was wonderful to get to run into her in the mall. Just come and say, hey, excuse me, are you Mr. Argueta? It's easy to recognize me. You see me every week in a video. You should be able to recognize me walking around. Anyhow, that being said, here's what to expect for next week. So next week, guys, it is my absolute favorite discussion. This is the discussion I love to read. Now, if you want to check ahead of time, or maybe you've already done this week's discussion, you want to get a sort of head start, you could just go to your discussion tab, not your weekly assignment tab, but your discussion tab, scroll down to where it says my favorite discussion. And you can click on the video and sort of watch the video and prepare yourself for that discussion, because this one's a little more powerful and it's part of management. It's part of business. It's part of what this class is all about, principles of management. And this is about a professor, Professor Randy Potash, which was a professor in Carnegie Mellon. And Carnegie Mellon had this series that they did that once a month, maybe, or once a quarter, they would invite a professor, a faculty member, to give a discussion to the body of students, not just their students, but all students in the school. And they called the series The Last Lecture. And the premise of this is, if this was the last time you get to address your class, this is the last opportunity I have to speak to you, what would I tell you? What would I say? Now, as a pastor, I actually use this, and I've had this opportunity because, as you know, several years ago, I had to sit down from pastoring. I didn't do anything immoral, illegal, unethical. I just had health issues, so I had to sit back and say, I need to take care of my health before I go and do more. And I sat down from pastoring, and I gave my last lecture, my last preaching to them. And I told them what I felt and how hard it was to make this decision. But I also told them what I hope to see in them in the future, what I pray will happen once our lives go in separate directions. And it's the same feeling I have every semester with you guys. I want this message, or this week's, not this week's, but next week's discussion, to help you identify your statement of purpose. Your statement of purpose. And I will tell you that I've had these opportunities, and this has been the backdrop of a lot of what I do when I do public speaking. Not that this is encouraged or recommended, but if you wanted to, look at YouTube and search Mr. Argueta. I have a couple of speeches out there that I base my speech off of this type of topic. So there's two in particular. One, I had the opportunity to do the commencement speech for the graduating class of 2019 at GNTC. This was in the back of my mind. The other one was when I did a speech for TCSG as the Teacher of the Year. This was the back of my mind. This was what I was thinking about. What if this was the last opportunity I had to say something? What would I say? So if you wanted to just had nothing else to do, you wanted to see those speeches, you're welcome to YouTube, look for YouTube, or you can Google, I'm sure, my name and find it. But either way, I'm excited about that one because I really love hearing your statement of purpose. Why? What is it that you're doing? What is your why? What are you doing this for? every one of us has that. So I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for this week. Guys, this week I recommend, highly recommend, if you're in the Dalton area, first and foremost, stop by, say hi, I want to meet you. But second of all, if you're ever out getting a cup of coffee, this class has probably been the most coffee addict class I've ever had, by the way. You guys are amazing. So if we had an actual class, it would be crazy. You guys would be off the wall. Anyhow, 2 coffee shops that I recommend in town here in Dalton. The first one I recommend, one of our own GNTC business management student, Felicia Reyes, owns the coffee shop on Morris and Hamilton, the old Sweet Spot. Remember the old Sweet Spot? Now that's become Cafe Leon. Cafe Leon. That's one of our students. Stop by, say hi, tell her, hey, I'm in Mr. Argueta's class. He told me to stop by. And she's super sweet, super nice, great student. That's one. The other one, it's not necessarily, but they are part of our school system, but Casa de Café, which is on East Morris Street. You go past the railroad tracks a little, you'll see it on the left-hand side. Great coffee, wonderful, wonderful coffee. As a joke, they know my name there already, but as a joke, we always go in there and we'll say, we'll have a Laner special. And they give you a latte and I think breve. So it's wonderful. 2 coffee shops if you're interested in coffee. So that's my recommendation for the week. Other than that, guys, I recommend you stay hydrated and be kind. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Love, 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 love reading your replies and hearing what's going on in your life. Tell me about you. It's exciting to hear what's happening in some people's life. One of our students was spending time with their kid. Another one was telling me about their trip to Chicago. And of course, some of the things that you guys drink, some of the coffees that you drink. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a joy to hear what's happening in your life. So stay safe, be careful. Until next week. And if you're in town, come by, say hi. We'll see you next time.